I have to be honest, I think this episode is one of those Dragon Ball Super episodes that really, really benefits from watching it with good subs. There's a lot of content here in this episode that comes at you dialogue-wise that I think you wouldn't be able to get unless you have good subs, so I would highly recommend it. So the first thing is that we get a recap from the Daishinkan concerning the rules of the tournament, because now that the tournament is halfway through, Zeno asks, okay, what happens if time runs out? And the Daishinkan just, recaps the rule that if time runs out, if it hits 0, then the universe with the most fighters on the arena wins. And right now the universe with the most fighters happens to be Universe 7 with 7 fighters. And so for a lot of the other universes, this is going to turn into a numbers game, because as Champa stated in this episode, he's very well aware of the fact that his universe cannot take out Jiren. He knows that for a fact. I'm pretty sure some of the other universes know it as well. So what they can do is try and reduce Universe 7's numbers and then just kind of hide and stick around. Pretty much you're stalling. They're stalling for time, but they need to start going against Universe 7, because if the time runs out, Universe 7 gets the automatic win. So what happens is that the Namekians are fighting Gohan and Piccolo. I loved that combo. That was so great. A really cool combo by Piccolo and Gohan. Essentially, the Namekian is coming in with a cut to hurt Piccolo. Gohan actually blocks the hit, and then while Gohan is blocking, Piccolo comes in with the beam and just shoots him away. So really cool shot. Now the thing here is that since Goku just fought Jiren and he's still recovering, even with Frieza's energy, mind you, the other universes kind of see it as an opportunity, especially Universe 3, because Moscow, the god of destruction, the robot, orders some of his machines, 3 of them, to go against Goku and take advantage of his recovery time. So they start kind of going at him, and Goku is not having it easy because he's in base, but he's still recovering. It's really tough. And there's a bit of dialogue that kind of seems a little bit weird at first, because by the end he tells Vegeta that he's fighting while waiting to recover, which, if you read that, you're like, wait, what? Isn't that kind of a contradiction? Like, how can you recover if you're fighting? But really what he's saying, or, if you look at his actions, really, it's just he's staying in base. He's not pushing it anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to stay this way until, I get some energy back. And actually, I really want to point out that last week, Hit was the one who, before he left, he gave this very inspirational speech. I think Cabba really took it to heart and stuff. And he basically said, you need to find what it is that you need to do in this tournament. You need to find your role. And Cabba just did a great job in terms of finding what his role should be. And if you look at this episode in terms of how what he did ended up benefiting Goku, it's just so great, because he goes and buys Kale and Caulifla time, and then by the end of the episode, Caulifla comes in to take care of those robot machines that were about to hit Goku. So it just kind of comes full circle. Now the subs actually made it super clear that the reason for why Cabba was so insistent on Kale and Caulifla leaving is because he understands that he is the weakest of the 3. So he absolutely knows his place, and he knows that this is as much help as he can be for Kale and Caulifla. Alright, he understands that those 2 are really Universe 6's final hope if they are to survive the tournament. Now there's a moment where Caulifla was getting kind of cocky, and again, shout out to the subs, she's telling Cabba, fighting Monna won't drain me of any stamina. And Cabba's like, well, no, maybe not, but that cockiness is going to cost you. You're opening up yourself to be exposed. And by the way, Kale, the reason why it's so important to keep Caulifla and Kale together in play for as long as possible is because the main trigger for Kale to go Berserker mode, the main motivation for Kale to go Berserker mode, to transform, period, is Caulifla. So we want to keep Kale useful for as long as possible, and the best way to do that, at least for right now, is to keep her main source of motivation around her to a certain extent, which is Caulifla. And maybe it'll happen that, Caulifla gets eliminated and then just Kale can't take it and she goes Berserker again, and that's what triggers the transformation, but I don't think she's there yet. Not only that, in the preview, we kind of get the implication that Goku is probably going to teach Caulifla how to go Super Saiyan 3 because she's already mastered Super Saiyan 2. But the reality here is that even if Caulifla learns Super Saiyan 3, she would still be leagues below Kale. Because remember, during the fight against Jiren, Goku went Super Saiyan God, and Jiren stopped that hit. He forced him to move with Super Saiyan God. Jiren stopped the hit with a finger. So, he got him to move at least. But the issue is that Super Saiyan God is above Super Saiyan 3. So think about that. A form higher than Super Saiyan 3, barely got Jiren to move a finger, all right? And that's what Caulifla is going to learn, Super Saiyan 3, whoop-de-doo. Meanwhile, Berserker Mode Kale actually made Jiren interfere and shoot a blast at her to force her out of that mode. That's how big the distance between Caulifla Super Saiyan 3, if she goes Super Saiyan 3 next week, and what Kale has already achieved is. Anyway, it's Cabba versus Monna. Cabba uses Super Saiyan. Then Monna gets kind of upset and she inflates, and that's when Cabba begins having problems, which I have to say is kind of disappointing. I just want to point out, because I am reviewing the show and I have to point out stuff, that Vegeta, back in the day, back in the Champa arc during the tournament, he was fighting Cabba, and he said that Cabba and himself were pretty much equal when it came to their base forms. So obviously that's not true anymore because Vegeta just blew Monna away with one blast. So if that was the case, I guess my question is, why didn't Cabba do the same thing to Monna? He should have been able to do that if they are still equal in base. But obviously they're not, because Vegeta has been putting in some work after the Champa tournament ended. I mean, he's been into the chamber. He keeps doing stuff to improve himself. So now his base is obviously superior to Cabba's. But there was a moment where Monna was just rolling near the edge of the platform, and I think it would have been a good idea, good opportunity for Cabba just to shoot a blast at her and just push her out of the platform so that she couldn't break. But he didn't do that, and then Monna kind of pushes him out of Super Saiyan. And then eventually Vegeta rescues him, gives him a hand, only for Cabba to be eliminated a little bit later in the episode after turning Super Saiyan 2 for the first time. I believe it's the first time, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is. One of the best parts of this episode was the fact that we find out what 3 characters would wish for if they win the tournament. And that's Vegeta, Cabba, and Frieza. So Vegeta says, if I win, and he's cocky, so he's going to say, when I win, all right, I'll wish you guys back. I'll wish the Universe 6 guys back. Even before that, when he helped Cabba out, Champa was already saying, thank you, Vegeta. I kind of owe you one. I'll repay my debt because I'm an honorable guy. So that was really cool. Vegeta says that. Then Cabba says, well, if we win, or if I win, I'll bring you guys back too. So I think that's just straight up just very, very obvious foreshadowing that that's kind of what the universes, at least Universe 6 and Universe 7 are going to do if they end up winning. They'll bring each other back. Maybe not just each other, but the rest of the universes. And then this guy, Frieza, comes in and he's like, yeah, screw that little boy. Stupid little wish. I will use the Super Dragon Balls to take control of the gods. Wow. I mean, when he said, I was like, oh. Imagine if that actually were to happen, right? Cut to Frieza with the Super Dragon Balls. He makes the wish. Next thing you know, the Daishinkan is bending over. Anyway, Cabba uses Gallic Gun. It lands, it hits. Frieza goes golden form, and then he just completely overpowers Cabba. And it's funny because in the beginning, so Frieza's just basically just taking all of Cabba's punches with one hand. But the thing is, right, that during the beginning parts of the exchange, Frieza is just building Cabba up for some reason. He's like, oh, I noticed you're really strong, or you look strong, and oh, I love strong people, but I hate Saiyans. So he's just building him up. And then by the end, after he goes golden form to take care of him, and again, he takes care of him super easily, he's like, boy, that kid was sure trash. So it's it almost seemed like he was just playing with his self-esteem, sort of making Cabba think that he was a lot stronger than he actually was, because he blatantly admits, Frieza just says, I'm not wasting stamina on trash. And the smack talking, all right, the talking of the smack continues with Vegeta and Toppo, because Vegeta's getting near the area where Jiren is busy reading the newspaper, meditating, and then Toppo cuts him off. It's like, you're gonna fight me. Vegeta's like, I'm not playing second fiddle. You're the second best. Get out of my way. And then Toppo's like, wait a minute, fam. Aren't you second fiddle too? Aren't you the second best too? Toppo's like, wait a minute, did I miss something here? Because unless you can pull Ultra Instinct out of your butt right now, we're on the same boat. So they go at it. And I did notice that Vegeta was panting there by the end a little bit. He was breathing heavily. Which, it's understandable because it's Toppo. Toppo's not a scrub. By the way, Ribrianne wasn't in this episode. And I personally would have wanted Ribrianne to be eliminated before Cabba. But, heck, even before Hit. I also want to know what Jiren's wish would be if he happens to win. That'd be interesting to find out. Maybe it's a good thing. Or maybe it's a bad thing. And at this point, I consider a bad thing to be not wishing the other universes back. Anyway, just a quick side note. In the manga, it was revealed that Jiren is actually more powerful from a combat standpoint. He's actually more powerful than the God of Destruction from Universe 11. Bermudo, or Belmod, or Vermud, whatever you want to call him. He's stronger from a combat standpoint than the God of Destruction of his universe. So that's been confirmed. I do not know if it's the same for the anime, but it's the manga. There has to be some connection there. But please, let me know what you thought about this episode down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Like the review if you did. I appreciate that as well. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I do Dragon Ball Super reviews every Saturday night. Catch you guys later. Bye.